Yo, what's up? It's your girl Pretty Right, and I'm sitting pretty, starting riots right here on Illinois.
I'm gonna let you finish, but did you tell them to listen to iLLANOiZE radio?
Every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Well, I was getting to that, but y'all made a point, so I hope y'all tune in.
Do that.
Wow. It's iLLANOiZE Radio, Chicago's most valuable radio show. And as always, we bring you all the illest guests from around the city and globe. And this time we got a multi-talented brother in the mix, man. He done seen things since the beginning. Man, Pugs Atomz is in the building.
Welcome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Finally made it, man. I remember years ago, you were like, can you come? I'm like, never on a Saturday. Never. But now, life has changed and I'm here.
Hey, schedule finally able to, meet us halfway. Fresh cut, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute, man. I remember your days at WHPK.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's tap into WHBK. But first, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. This is like Chicago Art Week. A lot of my art homies are all in town. Been to like almost every possible party, art, something or other in the last few days. So
it's been a busy week.
Been rolling, man.
And you made time for us.
I had to, man. Long overdue. Yeah.
Hey, now you can't hear, but I got the claps going on for you right now.
I appreciate all that, man.
But yeah, I formally met you at WHBK, University of Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie West Restless, put me in tune with you, and you provided me a incredible interview, and that's why I got in tune with you at WHBK, a long time station, a dope ass show, CTA Radio.
Yeah, man.
How has CTA Radio How has that been for you as far as like your career as a whole?
HBK in general, man, that station changed my life. That was the place where I was able to hear rap uncensored. Like in the 90s, they would just let a whole album go. And they had an early copy. So it was like you got to preview music in a way you never could on the radio. And then also, being it uncensored, that made it like super amazing, But as I started to do our show, CTA Radio, in 1999, and the show still goes on now. It's crazy we were able to stay that long. But just to interview all your heroes and future heroes, because everybody from a Nas to a budding Vic Mensa to people like Talib Kweli arguing with Ron Fest on air. Just any and everything, doing Kali Uchis' first ever interview, Waka Flocka's first interview. So, a lot of like moments, getting to see people when they don't got it together and then seeing them figure it all out, But also with Chicago being the way Chicago radio was at the time, us and, the other college stations were kind of the only outlet for a lot of rappers. Because it just, unless you had like the super commercial record, it was pretty hard to break through. But I got, a record deal from doing a radio show. Pugs Atomz presents Shot City Hip Hop with Raptivism. And, got to, travel around the states just off a mixtape, but, a legal mixtape. Yeah, I never forget, seeing the listening stations and all the Virgin mega stores. Like, that was just a moment,
Radio's brought you a lot, brother.
What was radio like in that time here in the city? For you and doing something not being a part of, like you just mentioned some big names, but you doing something on a level where people would say is competitive to the big companies here in the city.
It was freedom, and it was kind of like you were on this mission because you're like, I want to plug our music. So me, my homie Taiwan Davis, Kevin Maxey, we all kind of had that same vision of like, we want to champion what's not being played. So a lot of artists that wouldn't get the chance, this was their place to go. And then it would get to the point where we would have like maybe 30 guys in our record room battling, like standard each week without that they even really being involved with the show, but they knew this is the place to get discovered. This is the place where somebody that makes beats will see me or hear me and be like, let's work. And for me, in rap and art, et cetera, clothes, I'm always collaborative. So I'm always like, I like that thing you got there. How can we put that with what I'm doing and make it bigger?
Right.
So it was a lot of options in that. But towards like the 2000s, I used to work at Power 92 on the promo team. Like we had a couple of promo accounts at the time. We were doing like House of Blues, Hip Hop 2000, Scion, and Power 92. And going from, you know, helping to promote a station to going to your show where it's your control, like it taught me a lot of like what I wanted and what I didn't want. My father was a radio DJ, and he told me in the beginning, he's like, don't be a radio DJ. It's not what you think it will be.
Right.
You know what I mean? The cutthroatness of it. But, you know, through it all, meeting, you know, all the different personalities, comedians, etc. Like, you know, magical, man.
Right.
When did you start to notice like radio was changing?
I mean, a few times. I mean, if you want to look like 2013, like when I moved back to Chicago from London, I was like, oh, we got to do something else. This, you know, it's like, it's too many other options now. So it's like, we could keep doing this show, but we definitely have to figure out another component to make it, one, interesting, and then also to discover the next people. So, I mean, at that point, I think I was like, I'm going to just make an Instagram, and I'm just going to post music how we played music. Because with us, it was no set list. Your publicist could call you, all that, and we'd be like, we might play it. But it would really be about what we were into, what we're vibing on. So on the CTA Radio Instagram, it's just a long mixtape. It's basically whatever I'm listening to, that's what you're going to see as the videos go. And, you know, back when Instagram had that feature where you could just let it play through somebody's whole page, it just all went boom, 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 boom. It was so
Damn,
dope.
you was DJing all day. Hey, look, hey.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I had to make it interesting to me again, you know, in that. Because it's like, after 20 years of doing that, it's like, all right, man, I didn't interview all I can interview, you know what I mean? It's like, I need another thing. And then also, I mean, in the midst of that, like I hosted a TV show, Barbershop Hip Hop, and I mean, we interviewed everybody on that show from alternative rock to hip hop, but we were making people's videos. Again, making it interesting to do. Yeah. So, me, if it's not interesting, I really don't want to do it.
So before we get into this music break, Pugs, when did you know it was time for you to step away and kind of like, because you never really stepped away, but like step into the other avenues that you're doing now and put a little more focus on the art?
Well, the art, man, that's really was my first big break, man. I mean, my first big break is like, what's that? 1998, Babyface and his wife, they were on Block 37 when it used to be the tents outside in the summer program, and they came to my tent and they saw my book because I had like this leopard covered sketchbook, and all the pages had these crazy graffiti pieces and characters and raps and all that. And they were like, yo, you want to do some art in the film? And I was like, yeah, definitely do that, you know. And they picked another cat that was really good with portraits. I want to say his name was Michael Jordan, but I can't remember quite, but it was Michael something. But they had me and him, and then I kind of came up with the whole design for the movie Light It Up. So everything from what the character wears to his sketchbook to like, would I stand like this? Would I not stand like, what would I say to my friends? You know, that kind of thing. And then the whole mural that's in the movie was all like my stuff. And then my homie, he was more with the faces. Because I'm more about the full picture, not necessarily always the details. Now I think my artists move more to the details.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I did that, and I was like super young, you know, on the set. And it wasn't really, I mean, outside of maybe Usher and a few of the other actors were like my age, I didn't like it. Because it was just, you know, mainly older people within the paint department, set design department. And rap was just my friends. You know, it was fun. I mean, my roommate at the time, who I still paint with, Damon Lamar Reed, I mean, he was making demos, I'm making demos, you know. So it was like that, to me, was way more exciting. So I kind of just put the money I got from that and put out the first Acrobat album, which was like the crew that I had during that time, which was like 200 kids from Evanston to Sauk Village that did all that.
Damn, that is a range.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
from north to south.
Yeah, but there's no internet. So it's like you got to travel and build your reps. I mean, I was going school to school battling, or going block to block battling, or party to party, you know, whatever it took to get it going. And we were throwing events too. So, I mean, all of that was way more fun. So I went to that. But at the pandemic, that's when I said, I'm going to get back to the art hardcore. Because in those times you would come to the station, I do the station, I go to Iridium, do the store the whole day. Then I would probably go paint on my homies' murals, then do that again over and over and over. So it was like, at the pandemic, I was like, all right, I got to choose.
Damn, well, we gonna talk about all of that, man. You brought up the Necrobats too. We got so much to talk about, man. Pugs Atomz is in the building, and we gonna take it back to a record produced, I believe it's by Mulatto.
By Mulatto Patriot. I think this is like 2014, this record.
For those of you, when y'all go search the song, you might see a young Pico in this joint with the
Pico got
locks.
his acting chops on in this joint.
Oh, the real. Shout out Pugs getting me out there.
Just listening to the first half of the interview, I'm learning a lot about you, and I see that you're a multifaceted, like multimedia artist. What do you feel like is the most difficult part about wearing so many hats? Like, do you ever find it hard to figure out which way you want to creatively express yourself?
Nah, I mean, figuring it out, that's the easy part. I would say more, for me, it's hard to explain that. So most times I say nothing. I just introduce myself and keep it moving. Just because, I mean, if I say all I do, you're going to be like, that sounds crazy. Or you'll try to put a measure or, you know, so I just, for that, just leave it simple, just to dodge that. But that's, for me, probably the hardest part.
Okay, so considering that, how do you feel about the 10,000 hour rule? Considering you have so many hats.
That's what did it, though. Because, like, for me, all the things I do are things other people used to pay me to do for them. And then from there, I was like, I should probably do this for myself, too. Or, you know, it'd be like something like hire a graphic designer to do my album cover, didn't like it. And I was like, I know I could jump on Photoshop and figure out something. So, it's, you know, it's that kind of stuff. I mean, going to a concert, I needed a T-shirt. I was like, let me just see if I can make something right cool. You know, it's that kind of stuff. And then people come and give you affirmations of like, that's dope, you know, or I want to get that too, you know. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite medium of creating art?
I'd probably say my favorite would probably be mosaics or making clothing, just because with the clothing I can incorporate all my art and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, for instance, this jacket is just based off a drawing of a dragon fruit I did time ago, but I was just looking at it.
Yes.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like
That,
you could.
I was looking at that like, why do that remind me of something that I eat? In my head, I mean, I didn't say it, but no, literally,
that's
but
what I'm
like,
saying,
okay.
though. It's like you could add all the stuff and it's all walking together, you know?
She said you look like a snack, bro.
I didn't say all that, but he did remind me of that snack because I do.
Yo,
I do.
I'm noticing this right now. But is that Queen Nefertiti in your head?
Yeah. That's been my trademark for about 2014. Yeah.
So I brought the haircut up. That's why I like, yo, I fucks with the cut.
What made you want that to be the trademark?
Well, you know, as a kid, I really couldn't get all the crazy designs in my head, man. And then I had dreads from like 1993 to about 2012. So coming back, and then the guy that did stock at our store, he cut hair too. So, like, you know, the first time I got the side shaved and just had the dreads on the top, the barber didn't know what to do. So he kind of left me with a slight bowl, but it wasn't, you know, it didn't look cool.
Right.
So the homie was just like, yo, what you want? So the first time I think I got like a Keith Haring dog in the back. Then I got like a bunch of phoenixes, like the Fire of the Phoenix. I have a bunch of those. And then, you know, thinking about my wife, thinking about my mother, my grandmother. And I had this clothing piece, Queens Get the Money. It was like a T-shirt I had been like working on, and all of that together. I was like, I need a Nefertiti. That's what it'll be.
That's
and
dope.
for me, different, you know.
Yeah, that's dope. Dope.
Hold
I just
up.
noticed it.
Is it a possible way you could turn and show?
And show the people.
See, it's good I don't have headphones.
Yo, that's fresh.
Yeah, my barber Troy, man. Look him up on Booksy. Troy at Joe, Chicago.
Troy at Joe. He said that one more time. Plug it
Troy
again.
at Joe Chicago on Booksy, man. Rock with him, man. He right downtown on Wabash. Get
Man.
that if you need that, you know?
Man, you've been creating since the age of 14?
Well, nah, I
Or
mean, I
probably
did
even
stuff
before.
before then, but 14 was like my first job as an artist.
Okay.
Like in my neighborhood at the Boulevard Arts Center, they had like a summers program where you would paint a mural or you would some other type of art, but create a full project from it. So I did that like 3 years, and then I moved downtown to the downtown version on right across from Macy's. Yeah.
So, I mean, since you spoke on your neighborhood a little bit, how did your neighborhood kind of like shape your artistic voice?
Well, my mom's a painter, so I mean, off top, I'm always was surrounded by that. And you know, as I said before, my dad was a DJ, and you know, different musicians, different artists, you know, would pop by the crib. So I mean, I always saw it as a viable thing, and my parents definitely encouraged me like to go with the painting, you know. So I mean, they were definitely pushing, you know, for that to happen. But get in that group of friends, man. Like most of my friends either paint or make beats. I mean, if you have that, you kind of can't stray away. I mean, because I do like artist consulting and all that, and I'm always just like, you got to get your friend group that does the things you're trying to do. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard. Because the other friend's not interested in that. They're like, oh, great.
Yeah, that's real.
Hell, you in a way consulted me, brother. I tell you this every time I see you. But a long time ago, when I felt like I was down at my lowest, I remember having a convo with Pugs, and bro was just telling me everything I needed to lift me up to where we at now. Like I literally felt like I was at my lowest. Nothing was going right for me. Then I lost my job. A lot of things was happening where I just was like, you know what? I don't know what's about to happen. And I don't know how, but me and Pugs was on the phone call, and, you know, it was not really venting, but just explaining to bro how I felt about certain living condition at that time. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but it stuck, you know, just that conversation stuck with me. And you always said just pretty much do me, don't worry about certain shit, and just to stay focused and clear, you know, just the BS in similar terms. And yeah, I mean, to this day, bro, I thank you for that. I know, Jones, you were getting ready to say something. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
That was deep.
Can I say?
I was about to. You just threw me off. You said,
the ones here.
Man, the one coming. It was coming in the corner. I'm like, hold on, folks. I was at my lowest.
I was at my lowest,
lost my
bro.
job.
Man, that shit was.
But
was
I mean,
tough.
you know how it goes pursuing any of these type of things, man. You're gonna have the super hard days, and then trying to explain that to somebody is tough,
Right?
If they haven't been through it,
Right. One question I do have. You have like Sis said, you got so many talents. Like, how do you ever get this thing where you want to do everything at once?
Ooh.
Like
I would say when I was younger. I would say when I was younger. Now I think about it way more calculated. So it's like I might be cooking this, but I'm like, this is what's important right now. And then I usually try to work with deadlines. I'm very about that. Like all the people that contract me for stuff, and for my own personal stuff, I usually set dates. So then I could say, this is what's important now. Otherwise, I think I'd get lost.
Shout out to G Green. I went out to the
big up G Green.
Oh, you know G Green. Yeah, I went to the art show yesterday at his new gallery out in Fulton Market. And like I was just noticing it was so diverse in there. And it's like I wanted to know, like, to you as an artist of everything you create as a creative, like, what's something about art that you feel can bring like so much diversity under one roof?
Just that everybody has a voice. Like last year, I was an artist in residence at the Chicago Cultural Center, and being a resident there, you can do your stuff in the studio, obviously, but you also have to teach. What was it? 2 Fridays, 2 Saturdays out of each month that you're there. I was there for 3 months, and with each time, like, people will come in, you know, they're like, I don't know how to do that. I don't do it, you know. And then, you know, I have a couple prompts, and they'll start going, and it would be so funny of when it was leading towards something that they wanted to do, and then they're creating in that vein, magic happens. And then it's like, they're like, I could do anything, you know, that kind of thing. To me, that's what's magical about art, and that it can express things that you can't just outright say a lot of times. And I mean, in a political climate, it could be the voice. And we've seen that.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, that was a funny thing that just happened. Too bad we don't get bloopers. You feel me? But oh man,
It was on cue though.
yeah, it was on. I tried. I couldn't hold it. Y'all start busting out laughing. I couldn't hold it. Oh man, I forgot my question. God damn. All right, I got your hair. Boom.
I know you talked about London.
All right. Oh, that's what it was. Being out of town, going out the country, and seeing hip hop from a different view. How did that make you fulfill you? Because I know they receive it differently out there than here.
I mean, for me, like, I think the first time I went overseas was 2003 with my home Taiwan Davis. He was signed to a label in Germany. And he had went the year before, And then he just hit me up one day and he's like, bro, it only costs like $444 for you to go. We can only go for like a couple weeks. And I was just like, $444?
That
That's
price ain't the same no more.
No, price is definitely not the same.
I was like, hold on.
But it could go back. You never know. But I went on that trip, and on that trip, man, I got to see it live. Like, I remember, like, probably our best show, we played Nouveau Casino in Paris, and we were the openers, but they gave us like an hour just to go nuts. And I mean, we milked that crowd. Like, you know, we sold all of our merch, all of our tapes, CDs, all that stuff. And after that trip, I was just like, man, I'm not coming back if I got to pay. I'm going to come back, and they're going to pay me to come back. And it took, you know, to 2009 for that to happen. But when it happened, it was a major way, because I had done, what was that, 45 shows in like 60 days with DJ Vadim across U.S. and Canada. End of that tour, he gave me a CD with some beats. I'm a smart guy, so I recorded to almost all the joints and was like, here, here, here. He had got eye cancer, so I was like, man, I don't know if that's the ticket, you know? So maybe 6 months after that, he overcame it. And he just hit me out the blue. I was recording for the Good Doctors and SC for a compilation for his production. And he was like, you want to go to Russia? And I was like, yes, I would love to go to Russia. So we did like 3 shows out there. We did 3 shows in London. And at the end of that stint, I was like, bro, we should make a group. And then we just started recording all this music, because during the whole tours, like, I'm making new music with or without whoever's involved, because I'm like, I got to make this happen. I'm making music videos with or without, because got to make this happen. Yeah, so it's like he picked up on it. And then, you know, from that point, it would be I would go for a month, then come back here for like 2 weeks. Then I go back for a month and come back for like a week. And then it got to the point where it was just like, I'm wasting money, you know, because we're breaking it up. It's 4 of us, because we have full live band as well. But those people might switch out depending on what country we're in or what city we're in. Right. So at that point, I was just like, man, I got to just move. I got to just bite the bullet and do this thing that I've been wanting to do, you know, for the longest. And what's kind of crazy, I remember just joking with my wife when I first met her, like, we're going to move to London. That was just like something that was already in the air, and it's just everything presented itself for us to do that, but to do it for my art and not have to sacrifice anything. But the thing I really loved about being over there and seeing all the different countries was how much people knew about Chicago hip hop, but then also certain places I would be the first person. They'd be like, "Is nobody else from your city ever been here?" And some places, you know, not even, you know, other U.S. rappers, because I mean, it's big, small, you know, far, wide. And then at this point, certain cities, countries are developing their own hip hop scenes. So it's like, they might not need you. Like in Italy, they might not need any of us, you know what I mean? Because they got their own thing going. And hip hop at times is popular, but it's not the dominant, you know? So it was a lot of that. But then also being able to be your authentic self without anybody coming to tell you what you did before. So, I mean, I hosted like a rock TV show out there just because they said, we like how you talk, you know? So, I mean, it's those kind of options were amazing. And to bring it to how I got to Iridium, while I was in London, like I would go to Fashion Week, you know, and my roommate, Paz Dean, he was like a street photographer. And he knew everybody. So he hooked me up with Wale's B-side. Wale is knighted by the Queen for fashion. He didn't dress everybody, Beyonce on down. But he had his own factories, he had his own stores. So like getting to see that from behind the scenes with my background, where I used to intern for Mustafa Rocks and Brian of Afrowear when they were doing that real big. And adding that to meeting him and then coming back to Chicago and me and Platinum hitting it off. Because Platinum just used to hook me up with gear. Like I'd come home and I'm like, yo, I saw this shirt. He'd be like, just come to my house. And then from there, we just really had a friendship, and I wanted to see him win. So I'd be like, yo, come on my show. I'm going to make you an EPK. You know, it's like that kind of stuff. So it was just like a natural progression into it, then finally being like, we have a store.
Like you said, collaboration.
Making it, yeah.
You want for collaboration. I mean, before we get into this break, because I want to touch more into Iridium, which we'll do after the break. But you were being around different cultures, different languages.
It changed how I wrote. It definitely changed how I wrote. I had to definitely cut out a lot of the extra rapidy rap and like focus more on feel and simple themes to get that across. But I used to know how to say like make noise in every language because that was like, you know, you had to hit it when the record dropped. You got to have that at festivals because, I mean, I'm playing everything from a Glastonbury to a farmer who has a festival on their land. So, you know, all sizes. So you got to be ready with the hat trick just in case, you know.
I love how you knew what I was about to ask. You already knew. You was like, oh, I got you. We gonna tap back in with Pugs, man. Y'all don't go nowhere. I'm taking us back again. Here's Come With Me. And then we're going to tap into some new music, too. Well, latest drop from Pugs. We're going to tap into that. We're going to talk a little more about Iridium as well because, man, Iridium has, you all have done some things for the city.
It was a lot of moments, man. A lot of moments.
Previous to the break, we was chopping it up about, you know, just international travels. And then you were leading us into Iridium on how you, pretty much how things came together. Can you first tell us the meaning behind Iridium?
Well, Iridium is an element. So it's like one of the valuable elements. And then like, that was another thing where I felt a connection because like platinum, he's an element. Iridium's an element. My government, sterling. So it was like we was all in that mix. And for me, that's how I usually choose what I'm doing based on how it all connects, you know. And I was like, I could rock with that. Because, I mean, most people that knew me, like, in the 90s, early 2000s, I was super Ralph Lauren'd up. I was super Fendi, et cetera. So, for me, coming in the street where it was definitely at a distance, like I would say, you know, working with Mustafa with the Afro wear, and then I used to shoot these videos for Juggernaut, 16-bar videos. And, you know, between the two of them, it got me more acclimated and being like, okay, I can rock with this. But with Iridium, man, it was this T-shirt of it was Michael Jackson's Thriller, like a big, huge face on the shirt in like a cartoon style. And I was headed to Greece to play the Boogie Brain Fest, and I was like, I need that shirt. And just a simple, you know, Facebook message. I didn't really know him like that, and he said, "Come to the crib." And so I'm saying, like, all of that together was like, word, we in there.
What's some of the adversaries you all had to face to kind of get Iridium off the ground and get it to where it is now?
Well, it was already going for a number of years before I jumped down. But when I jumped down, I kept pushing, saying like, yo, you need a store. It needs to be a place because you just have to come to this crib to pick it up or order online. And he was just like, well, get us a store and be involved in that if that's what you want to see.
He said, you do it.
Yeah. And, you know, me being me, I was like, word. Because, I mean, at this point, like, I'll go to this crib, pick up some stuff. People meet me at HBK to buy it. You know what I mean? It's a lot, you know. But in that 2013, you know, we started hitting up places. I hit up Block 37. And, you know, I told them my story of the baby face getting discovered there, and they're like, all right, cool, let's set up a meeting. So we came, we saw the spot, and, you know, we kind of said we would do it as a pop-up. If it jumped, we stay. And mind you, I mean, I'm expecting my first kid, he's expecting his first kid. Right as this is going, I think my son came right before we opened. Like, damn. So it's like, you know what that kind of stress is, but I got to make this happen. But, I mean, we would both be there like 6-7 days a week, man, just pushing. And in that first year, I think I booked a DJ to spin every Saturday and most Fridays out of a whole year. And then everybody from like a Young Pivot Gang to, you know, any type of R&B-ish type group would be like, yo, I need you to do an in-store, you know, and did that for a whole year as well. And then from that, we started to get hit up by bigger people, you know, everything from people trying to shoot their TV shows, their reality shows in our stock room, you know, to, you know, doing like gear for Usher's tour to, you know, Stevie J, you know, calling me up like, yo, could you be my stylist and come out to Atlanta? You know, like that kind of like, wow, this is working, you know, it's really working. But I mean, the thing I love most about being there was just like the autonomy of it, because Platt would just be like, all right, that's the idea, let's do it. You know, it wasn't really a lot of back and forth. It was just more like, let's push it forward. But I got to, you know, throw fashion shows and, you know, style people and just really get to experiment throughout all of the stuff and then kind of create the wildest thing I could imagine, you know? So, I mean, it was amazing.
You did that. I know, because when you say streetwear, you know, one brand that comes to mind that was very successful with streetwear when it comes to urban. It's FUBU.
Yeah.
And we all saw the up.
Yeah.
And then we all saw the down.
Yeah.
And with Iridium, you still see it flow. Like I was recently at Block 37, and I'm like, man, it's been years you all been at that space, and it's not easy.
11 years.
Isn't
because I mean as old as my son. That's how I can remember.
How do you all maintain the longevity, man?
Well, I mean, as I said, at the pandemic, that's when I opted out and just focused on my art. But in the 7 years I was there, it was moving with the ebbs and flows. As we saw things change, we changed. As we saw like this not moving, we figure out a new thing that's moving. You know, to the point where we would manufacture other people's brands. Or just figuring out other ways to move.
It sounds like y'all wasn't afraid to pivot when needed.
No, but that's the thing. In business, you got to be ready to pivot. That's the only reason I know how to do all these things, because it's at times I had to pivot. You'd be like, all right, you've seen enough of that. What else? Yeah, or just like people seem to really respond to this little piece that really had nothing to do with the song, but that little piece, let me see if I could, make that bigger and experiment and see what that could take,
That's a lot of pivoting.
I mean, yeah, you live a life.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but I feel like you can pivot as many times as you want to in this life.
But you just got to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I meant that in a good way.
No,
I did not.
I didn't take it in a negative. But I'm just saying, it's like you got to see the playing field of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, let's talk a little. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Oh, so just quickly, like, being that you have pivoted so much, I know with very many successes, there comes, like, failures. Of course, like, that's inevitable. So how do you use that to, like, keep you going? Because a lot of people with pivoting, I pivot this way, I fail, I'm not going to pivot another way, and keep going. So how do your failures keep you motivated to keep going and keep pivoting?
Well, I mean, you got to think of what's your goal. Like, for me, I'm more about telling stories and pushing Chicago history, Chicago folklore of people that I admired or people that have helped me. So, I mean, that's a forever thing. So that could go many ways. I'm just looking for different conduits to put it out there. So I'm just open, A lot of times for me, it's somebody calling me and it's like, yo, I wanted this. I feel like you're the person that could do that for me. So, I mean, rolling with it.
Do you ever get scared?
Of course. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, you got to believe it. You got to be like, this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, my DJ used to always say something to me. He'd be like, Pugs, this could be as good as it gets, man. You better enjoy it. And like, I took that from that point on. Like, let me enjoy these moments.
That's deep.
Yeah, no, for real.
That's a retweet. That's a retweet.
I mean, I know we talk about Iridium, but let's talk about USUWE 93.
Oh, yeah, USUWE. Yeah,
there we go. I didn't want to miss, but that's why.
No, it's all good. People, I mean, I made it that way on purpose because people usually think it's another language off top or it's African, et cetera, et cetera. But really, it's just USUWE because it's like me, my wife, my son, my mom, and my pops, would say some wild stuff to me, but that's a shirt, So it's like that community. And then also in my brand, a lot of times it'll be an intern or be a friend, and we're like, oh man, what if? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's run with that. So it's an open source, but also it's kind of like connecting my artwork in a more affordable version. You know what I mean? Everybody can't buy a tapestry. Everybody can't buy a big canvas. Everybody can't pay for a mural, but you can have this T-shirt. But initially, it started out when I was going on that 45-day tour. I was like, I need merch, but I don't want it just to be my name. I was really good on that. I kind of seen other rappers and that just not really take off. So I was like, I need a brand. So then at that point, I was like, USUWE times Pugs Atomz for my tour merch. And then from there, it just slowly grew as I learned more about how to sell things, how to source things, how to make things.
That's dope. Cause now you making the fans feel like they're a part of what you got going on. That's dope.
USUWE. Love it. I remember when you first announced it, which was maybe a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when I started to like truly launch it. Cause I mean, when I was at Iridium, I was doing it, but I would always keep it separate. Like, people would be like, man, you should put it in the store. I was like, no, man. I'm focused on this thing here. I'm building this other thing.
Well, I mean, so with you already having with you already being part of Iridium, why would you like not want to embrace and collaborate and put your items in the store?
Well, I mean, it was one of those things that like I was selling other things at the stores. I mean, I was like,
gotcha.
We got a lot of different things going because I mean, I'm designing for people. We're doing resale, so it's points, I'll have different things for resale, and then I had Iridium stuff I designed. You know what I mean?
You wanted that for
you can't give people too many choices, you know? Because I mean, a lot of people shopping with me are shopping with me. So it's like if I'm like, well, I did that and I did that, you're gonna start to choose, you know? And I'm like, I just need you to buy something. I don't need you to be confused. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to somebody's website and they have too many options.
Yeah.
It starts to turn you off. You be like, oh man, I'm gonna come back to this. You know? Yeah.
Damn. I mean, is there anything new under the brand that you want to, let people know? Anything coming up?
Yeah. So I would say like the next thing is gonna be like a summer drop towards the end of June. I'm really excited about that. It'll be another art show towards the fall. Really excited about that. I will have some stuff probably at the Black Boy Art Show. I usually do that often. You can catch me at the EAC Village September 13th. We do the Arts Village, my whole EAC squad.
Inglewood Arts Collective.
Yeah, man. And I got a show next week though. You should definitely go to that.
That's what we want to hear.
Let me pull it up. I was like, man, let me make a little cheat sheet here.
Yeah. Let us know where it's all at.
So the next show is at Space 2928. That's 2928 North Milwaukee Avenue, and it's a joint with me, Rich Jones, Gyroscope, and a couple producers gonna rock, and then Burner Phone, which is my homie Kodak that's fresh back from Italy, and Earl Hazard that's from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh shit! I've been watching Tulsa King.
Uh-oh. Are you gonna commit some crimes?
No. I'm too old.
It wasn't that inspiring.
No. My knees are bad.
Like you ain't put. Look, we
I ain't doing 25. No, I'm too old.
Dude killed me though, because he can't really move. So
He looks stiff, don't he?
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
Yeah. Then he got beating up younger people. I'm like, it's crazy.
Will the band be with you? Or is it you and the DJ?
I know this would be me, Audacity, and the DJ. Yeah.
I actually want to ask you something too about EAC. Like as the co-founder, collaborate because you also collaborated with like D-Case.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff with D-Case, and I do a lot of stuff with D-Case as well. But I mean, the Department of Cultural Affairs in any city, if you're an artist, you need to get in tune because I mean they're knowing what funds are available, what grants are available, what opportunities are available, and I mean I would definitely say like D-Case definitely helped me to pivot into a full-time artist.
Okay.
I mean like one of my favorite projects I did with them last year. It took 3 years to do it. Is a large-scale hanging sculpture of the great people that came from Chatham. It's at the Whitney Young M Library right there on 79th and King Drive. But that was definitely like a scary moment of like, can I do this? Because I hadn't really done sculpture like that and something totally original design and all of that. So, I mean, definitely learned a lot and am going to hope to do more of that kind of stuff.
I do want to ask you too, like, how do you see public art transforming in communities now?
Well, think about Wicker Park, right? Wicker Park at first was super ghetto. Like if you look at like the late 80s, early 90s, and then, it was the clubs were all there, but the clubs could be there because the people aren't looking for like yoga pants and wanting to, walk their dog and that kind of thing. And the art there for me was a draw. It was, graffiti murals and regular murals all through there, art galleries all through there. And that created the cool that everybody wanted to be a part of. Now we're looking at the end of that there. And I mean, there's still art there, but that scene has moved on to another neighborhood, But art brings the people, Just that simple. I mean, even looking at a lot of the stuff we've done in Inglewood as the Inglewood Arts Collective, from doing takeovers of abandoned corner stores to, the Invest Southwest mural on 58th and Halsted. And now it's like a farm that's next to there. And, just other things come when the art starts because people don't feel as afraid.
Yeah, and you lighten up the neighborhood too.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Sure do. I know art is your first baby. I know that's your love. But we got to talk a little bit about the music, Pugs.
Word.
Mookie on the South Side is out.
Yeah, so Mookie on the South Side is basically like everything that I do. So it's clothing that go with it. It's art shows that go with it. It's videos that go with it. It's, documentaries that go with it. So it's like my outlet to put it all together and make it make sense. But it's really just my perspective of Chicago and a lot of other people that share that same perspective of Chicago, being able to bask in those things and those memories and those new things. So, I mean, it was super fun to make the record because Catch 22 and DJ Real One, they produced it. And they just hit me up on the humble and was just like, hey, man, we want to make some music with you. And I'm at a point now, I've been rapping a long time. So I was just like, what do y'all want to see out of this? You know what I mean? Before we even start doing this. Because, I mean, learning from, prior businesses of like, you need to know what everybody's vision is for this thing. So we actually make it to the vision or say, that's not what I'm doing. And they just really just like, we just want to make it. So it was just, it felt like when I first started making music and it's just me and my friends going to kick it and see what happens, So we recorded it at Zesto Q Studio right there behind the Harold Washington Library. So we had a nice south side. We were on the edge of the south side, but a nice south side backdrop. And I just hit up homies to come through. And, most people didn't even know really exactly what I was going to do with what they were going to do. Because usually my projects are blind, where it's like I have the idea, but you're just going to do your part and then move on until I put it all together. Because it may change, But, we recorded the album over like, I think 4 sessions, super chill, laid back. And it's been amazing just to get the feedback and the reviews and people be moved by it in a different way. Just because for them, I guess it tells a story that they're familiar with, but in a way that's, I guess, is warm. It would be, I guess, the best way to say it. Yeah.
What's the message you're hoping for listeners to gain from their listening experience?
Well, just to really understand what my scene, like what we saw, what moved us. What were like the key things there, that oral history. Because, I mean, Chicago's history isn't really written down that well. It's getting better, but a lot of the crazy stories is just somebody that told you, at a barbershop or your parents. It's not like in this book where you just could flip through and be like, okay, that's 1988, So, I mean, with my stuff, it's kind of pushing for that, where I'm giving you the points in time. So you could be like, I felt like I was there. Oh, I get. That's why you say this. This is why you do that. I mean, I'm a storyteller. That's my jam. Yeah.
Who the hell is Mookie though?
Well,
that's what I was waiting for.
So I do have a cousin, and he goes by Mookie. He's a horn player, and that's like the first musician I ever met. So that's set, like that's what a musician looks like, But then also Mookie is a term of endearment. A lot of people just say to the little kid, like, hey, little Mookie, come here. And I'm from Inglewood, 63rd Street. A lot of people, would run with that.
Mookie
easy.
or Bookie?
Yeah, Bookie.
It's a lot of moves out here. It's a lot of moves. Little
but
move, black
also,
move.
it was like a response to Chirac, because I mean, it wasn't for me, the movie. And then I was just like, what if I took something and made it Chicago? So then I was like, do the right thing. I was like, what if Mookie lived in Chicago? He'd work at Italian Fiesta. He'd have off-white sneakers. He would burn down Rothschild's liquor. Like
he would definitely Uber from O'Hare too.
Yeah, but all of that. But it's all of that. And in that, I found like a whole body of paintings that developed out of this concept. That's what I was saying. It's all together now. Yeah.
That's dope as fuck.
The way you foresee things and how you visualize things and put that concept together, gotta apply you, because you've been doing it for years.
Yeah, man.
People don't understand it.
It's always my full time, man, being a creative.
It's not easy keeping it going and staying consistent. It's not easy, and you make it seem easy, my brother. So you ain't got to give you another. You ain't got your headphones on, so you can't hear these clouds going off.
When I watch it back, I'm like,
when he listens, he's like, oh, that's what they were doing. For sure. I get it now.
So you say you got a show coming up, Space who?
Space 2928. 2928. I'm impressed. I remember that right here. Yeah, 2928 North Milwaukee. Next Saturday, I think 8:30 is doors. They got an art show from I think 4 p.m. till doors. So come kick it. and check it out. And that's a new spot. If you're looking for a spot, that's a new spot.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I heard of a space joint out in Evanston.
Yeah, that's the bigger joint.
So they kind of.
No, they're not together,
Oh.
but that's just what it's called. Yeah. But they
Gotcha.
do a lot of cool shows there.
So for people that want to get in tune with all things.
Oh, you just easy as pie, man. I don't know if everybody can say this, but I'm the same on any social media. Same name, Pugs Atomz, PugsAtomz.com. If you want to take the deep dive, I have all my videos, music, etc., interviews all linked out through there. And, just, hit the little button on Instagram. You can see what my life's like. We can be friends.
For sure.
Go grab some USUE.
Yeah, that
You know
too.
what I'm
That's
saying?
on the website too.
You feel me? Appreciate you coming through, brother. I'm happy our schedules met. It's
man.
been a long time.
It's an honor to be here, man, and to see you and your habitat do the thing,
Appreciate it, my brother. Same.
And meeting you.
For sure.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Shout out K-Max too, man. I was thinking about. I'm like, hold on, CC K-Max. Shout out that brother got all the damn vinyls and they damn near all
he a
signed.
super collector, man. Like from the day I met that guy. But we all did, the marketing, the street teaming, for all the labels. So we got it early of like having physical things. That's why for me, I can't make stuff without having a vinyl, a CD, a tape, because I know there's people out there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's Pugs. Y'all keep it locked. Mookie on the South Side is out right now.
Right now.
Go
Yes, sir.
stream that. Go get you some USUE.